Hi, y'all. Whoa, I was really close into the camera. Hi, I'm Julie. This is Wine and Reason. And tonight, I have more stupid shit my governor's done. So, hope you find that interesting. Um, I was supposed to be making, the Lone Wanderer sent me a recipe, among other things, for spring rolls. And I was going to make them tonight. And I was too tired, so we ordered out. And the Chinese food we got was delicious, but also had way too much sodium in it. So I will be making spring rolls at a later date. Just want to shout out to the Lone Wanderer for the recipe. Thank you very much. I am going to use it, just didn't tonight. I also need to give a... Oh, you tagged Billy? Oh, fantastic. All right. So my darling spouse and partner Junk Shop tagged Bill Lee on Twitter for this very occasion. That'd be fantastic. Thank you to my patrons. A bit of tea in Danish. Captain Kimothy the Bold, Mark Caesar, the man from down under, Santi the Sane, Microraptor, Ox, Godless Granny, the incomparable Lavender Lady, Junie the Apostate, and PJ Smith. Thank all of you so much. Your support keeps this channel going. And I know I do a lot of local stuff, and a lot of y'all are not local people. Some of you are in Denmark. Some of you are in all over. And yet, you still donate to something, give me money for something that you could essentially see for free, except for the patron-only content. So thank you so much. It is always appreciated. All right, so my governor, not mine in the sense that I ever voted for him, but Governor Billy of my state, Tennessee, has decided to follow in the unhallowed footsteps of the governor of Mississippi, in that he is refusing. He opted our whole state out of a $300 federal unemployment supplement and other programs because screw poor people, I guess. Screw anyone who was unemployed because of the pandemic, which I myself was for the better part of a year and have only recently been employed again, and I am so grateful for that. But that was all me. Bill Lee didn't help me get a job. You know who helped us survive during those months and months and months of unemployment due to the pandemic? The federal government. Not my state government, because they clearly don't give a shit. So, to quote from the Tennessean, quote, Tennessee is withdrawing from a $300 weekly unemployment supplement program, a decision by Governor Bill Lee that comes, as many Republicans argue, the additional funds allow low-wage workers to make more money while staying at home. Yeah, because if you're poor, it means you're lazy and or you deserve to be. Oh, this old argument, this ancient Reaganite argument that I heard through my entire childhood. It's bullshit, y'all. It's a myth. And any of you who have lived in the real world as an adult for more than 10 minutes, you know it's a fucking myth. So, the governor himself said, we will no longer participate in federal pandemic unemployment programs because Tennesseans have access to more than 250,000 jobs in our state. Families, businesses, and our economy thrive when we focus on meaningful employment and move on from short-term federal fixes. Well, you know what, sir? You know what is not a short-term federal fix? Is somebody paying their rent this month? Is somebody paying MLG&W to keep the lights on? Is somebody putting gas in their car so they can get to work? Y'all, I don't even know. This mindset, this pandering, this notion. I mean, this is how they get us. I've seen it my entire life. Poor people in the South are taken in by this pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And by the way, if someone could send me like photographic evidence of a bootstrap, I'm really curious, because I know they don't make those anymore and I'm not really sure what they are. But the tangible stuff aside, this whole metaphor of, you know, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, work hard enough, you'll be fine, da 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 da. You know what? You know what no one says on their deathbed? Damn, I wish I'd worked more. And you know what no one definitely says on their deathbed? Damn, I wish I'd worked harder at that restaurant or that fast food place or that cafe or that retail store, etc., etc., etc. We need a universal basic income in this country so that a minimum wage is actually something you can live on and not just working 3 jobs to scrape by, which I and Junk Shop have both done. We've done it simultaneously. That's not a good quality of life. It's raining outside. It seems apropos. So again, according to the article in the Tennessean cited in the description, quote, Lee informed the U.S. Department of Labor of the decision Tuesday, joining several other southern states in refusing the additional payments for unemployed people, end quote. And what I want to know is, Governor Lee, did you actually talk to any southern unemployed people? Did you talk to anybody here? Or are you just pandering to your base, to a religious Republican base that hopes one day they'll be millionaires too if they just work hard enough? Who thinks that anybody who is black or brown and serving them through a drive-through is somehow less than they are? Like they never worked those kind of jobs themselves? I've been working since I was 17 years old, sir. When I started, minimum wage was less than $4.10 an hour. Now I don't give a fuck that I'm dating myself with that. But even back then, even back in 1995, you couldn't live even here in Memphis on $4.10 an hour. No fucking way. All of my friends who worked in restaurants in college, they were going to college, going to classes, working in restaurants, and they all had 4 or 5 roommates. That's how we survived. It's not exactly an ideal situation, especially once you're out of your early 20s. And we were told, you know, education would be the answer, right? Now, what most of us have is tens of thousands of dollars in student loan debt. And you know what? That's fine, because now at 43 years old, I'm finally in a job where I can steadily, and in a career, actually, which I have been for a minute. I have been for a few more years than this. But I was laid off because of the pandemic last year, and I was out of work for the better part of a year. So, so frustrating. So I'm one of those people who was very lucky. If it had not been for the federal programs that allowed me to defer my student loan payments during that time, my spouse and I would have been homeless. The best case scenario, we would have moved in with my parents into the bedroom I had when I was 16. We are grown adults with an entire household of stuff that will not fit in my 16-year-old bedroom, which is also right down the hall from my parents' bedroom. I'm going to stop there. Love you, Mom and Dad. Also, okay, so here's the hilarious part. This short-term federal fix program that Lee has opted us out of, yeah, that particular program ends in Tennessee on July 3rd, according to what Lee wrote to Secretary of Labor Marty Walsh. So the announcement was made today, but they're going to wait until the day before Independence Day to end the program. I want to make sure you know, can at least buy some burgers for the grill or something. I don't fucking know. So, quote again from the Tennessean, in addition to the $300 supplement, Tennessee is also ending participation in federal programs that have allowed those who don't usually qualify for benefits, such as the self-employed, to receive them, as well as an initiative that extended the payments once regular unemployment benefits expired, which they do rather quickly in this state. That last bit was me. Sorry, I should have said brackets after expired. This is me talking. Okay, so quote, Tennessee pays up to $275 weekly for unemployed individuals. Wow, ain't that a princely sum? All right, so $275 a week. Hang on, I suck at math. I was an English major. Let me get my calculator up here. So $275 times 4 is $1,100 a month minus my rent. Don't worry, junk shop. I'm not going to get too specific here. Wow. All right. Minus rent alone and minus just an average. I'll do a low average. I'll do it on the low end. Low end of MLGW bills. Nothing else. Just rent and electricity. Yeah. Okay. That leaves us with about $200 a month for everything else. Talking groceries, internet, car payment, student loan debt. Shall I go on? Because I can. I'm leaving out several bills here. And we don't live high on the hog. Y'all know that. Also, the federal minimum wage, according to the Tennessean, which hasn't been raised in more than a decade, is still $7.25 per hour. Did I mention that when I was 17 and I started my first job, the minimum wage was right around, it was just under or right around $4.10 an hour? Ooh, now it's a whole $7.25. And I'm 43, so more than 20 years later. We know inflation has gone up more than that. Also, by the way, Tennessee's $275 weekly for unemployed individuals ranking is among the lowest in the country and significantly below the national average, which is $387. Yeah. I'm looking at his face. I'm looking at Governor Bill Lee's face right now, and I just can't even. I don't know how your mama or some other person in your family who has a heart or compassion hasn't slapped you upside the back of the head yet. And that is not a threat from me. I would not do that. But somebody who knows you should have. Or still could. Just saying. I will not, and I'm not encouraging anyone else to. Except maybe your mama. If she's still around. Jesus Jones. I almost feel bad for bringing his mama into it, but I just have to believe that he was raised better than this. All right, let's see who's in the chat. I got to get some of this vitriol out. See some good people, some compassionate people, some kind people, some people who don't want other people to suffer needlessly. Governor. I don't care. I don't care if this is a pride thing. I don't care if this is a party thing. I don't give a fuck, sir. You are hurting poor people in your state. And if you think that those people don't vote, you are wrong, because we do. And those of us who can help people get to the polls. And we help people to vote, and we encourage people to vote, and we get people registered. And we will vote your ass out. Just keep it up. Keep treating us like garbage. Keep treating us like trash. Keep treating hardworking Tennesseans like they don't matter. And that, like, you don't care whether they can eat or whether they're homeless or not, or what their kids go without. You keep treating them like that. See what that does for you. We'll get you out of that office so goddamn fast it'll make your head spin, sir. Whew. All right, so we got Ox, we got Geo Sam in the chat. Oh, we got my wonderful partner, Junk Shop Library. Whew. Yeah. Oh, Junk Shop brings up an excellent point. Thank you for doing the math, darling. All right. So minimum wage adjusted for inflation would be between $14 and $15 per hour, or perhaps we should say should be. Excuse me. Oh gosh, guys, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it should be. Absolutely. This is nuts. This is insane. 7. You can't pay rent with that. You can't raise a family with that. I mean, by definition, and maybe I'm getting pedantic, but by definition, shouldn't minimum wage be like the minimum wage for survival, which includes things like housing, electricity, groceries, et cetera, et cetera? I mean, at this point, health care, dare I say? We have Americans every day who don't go to the doctor because they weigh that decision. They weigh a decision about, is this heartburn or is it chest pain? I'm not sure. It really sucks, but maybe it's just heartburn, and I can't afford to spend $1,500 on an ambulance, so maybe I'll just wait and see. These are the kinds of decisions Americans make, and it's because of governors like you, Governor Lee, and it's because of this kind of politics. It's like you're Vlad the Impaler, man. Just shove all the poor people in a barn and burn it down and be done with it. Don't kill them slowly. If this is what you're going to do, you're trapping people in cycles of poverty from which their children and grandchildren may never escape, because what? You don't give a shit? Because you won't take the help that has been granted to you by the federal government? You're like, no, we're just not going to do that. Shame on you, sir. Just shame on you. I could not be more disgusted. Maybe if you were a direct relative of mine, I would be more disgusted. But no one related to me would be this evil. And what you're doing right now is evil. But what do you care? You ever going to see the faces of the people you're hurting? Are you going to see them turned out? You're going to see them evicted? You're going to see them sending their kids to bed with no supper because there's nothing in the house to eat? You going to see that happen? No. You're not going to give a fuck about that. And yeah, here's another point right here. And don't get me started on the $2.13 an hour that wait staff have made for the past 20 years. And yes, they have. Since I was an undergraduate in college, servers have made $2.13 an hour. This is why, and I'm talking to you boomers, this is why you tip 20%. If you can't afford to tip 20%, you can't afford to go out. Cook your own damn food at home. It's cheaper anyway. And if you're cooking fresh food, it might even be better for you, depending on your dietary considerations. But goodness sake, don't order a $70 meal and leave $2 on the table. You've just wasted that person's time and night, and a bill's not going to get paid, or somebody is going to go hungry because of that. So, okay, let me see. I'm going to go back to the article. Make sure I didn't miss anything. I'm just so frustrated. Okay. All right. So according to the article in the Tennessean, a lot of Republicans in our state have talked about shortage of workers, particularly in low-wage industries like retail and fast food. Well, shocker, because frankly, if I'm only making $7.25 an hour, why risk my life? I mean, I'm vaccinated, thank goodness, but up until recently, most people weren't, and still most people in Tennessee are not, unfortunately, and that's a whole other show, y'all. But yeah, only about 19.9% of us, last I heard, were vaccinated with both doses, which is awful. It should be a lot more than that, and we're not going to reach herd immunity. This is going to be bad. But even then, yeah, why would I risk my life to make you a fucking hamburger during COVID for $7.25 an hour? Sorry if that fucks up your economy a little bit, but why would I? Why? So anyway, okay, let me read the actual quote. Okay, while many elected Republicans in Tennessee have been vocal in recent weeks about a reported shortage of workers, particularly in low-wage industries like retail and fast food, representatives of the state's business community Monday night also sent a letter to Lee asking him to end the state's participation in the unemployment supplement program. So there we have it, y'all. That's the rub. They want to force poor people back into shitty jobs where they are not compensated and where they're on the front lines to possibly die of COVID. And this letter was sent by a Nashville-based National Federation of Independent Business, which is a business lobbying group based in Nashville. And I understand that Governor Lee is governor of the whole state, but Nashville is not the only place in your state, sir. It is not the only major city in your state. All right. Oh, and also, in case you didn't know, in my great state of Tennessee, which I do love, by the way, I'm going after the lawmakers right now. I'm going after the legislators. I'm going after Governor Bill Lee. I do love my state. But lawmakers here cap unemployment benefits at as low as 12 weeks. And that is the lowest nationwide, by the way. So you get, and also it doesn't count. It doesn't count if you quit a job because you're being harassed, or if you quit a job because you've been, for whatever reason. I have so many stories from people. I know people who couldn't work at Hobby Lobby because they were basically harassed out of there for not being Christians, actually. I know, I've got a lot of stories from friends for reasons they quit jobs. But if you quit a job, this is a right to work state. So you are SOL. You are strictly out of luck if you quit a job in Tennessee. If you are fired, you have to fill out a lot. And it's online now, so it's easier than it used to be. But you have to fill out a lot of forms to explain why you were fired, how you were fired, and that it was not your fault. Like, it can't be that you just didn't show up one day. You basically the only way you're going to get, well, the easiest way you're going to get it, and it's not easy, but is if you're laid off. That's the best way to get unemployment here. If you are fired with cause, I don't even know what that looks like, because I've only had to apply for, I've been very lucky, been very privileged. I've only had to apply for unemployment twice in Tennessee, and both times I was laid off. And once was due to corporate restructuring, and once was due to COVID. So, you know, but it is very difficult. So not only can our unemployment benefits only last for as long as 12 weeks, depending, the payments are some of the lowest in the country, and the cap on unemployment benefits is the lowest nationwide. Because basically it's a sin to be poor here, or a sin to get fired, or a sin to lose your job. All right. The rest of the article gets into comparing our state with other states, but I am less interested in that as I am with, I don't know why I say shocked. Hey, purple rhymes with orange. I do dig that new avatar, by the way. They did a great job on that. I don't know why. Y'all, I'm just so tired. I'm so tired. And y'all know what's going on. You know, when if you keep up with Junk Shop and I, you know what's stressing us out and what we got going on. But it's just, it's like we just got our feet under us again after such a horrible year and such a scary time, and the rug's being pulled out again. And I think about people who are not even, I mean, like I said, we did come very close. We literally came within a week of losing our apartment, but we had a place to go. We would not have been on the street. I don't know what we would have done with our stuff. I don't know how we would have paid for a storage unit or anything like that, but we would not have been on the street. And you know, luckily I've got family here and they're wonderful, and that's why. And we are very lucky for that. But that's not the case for so many people. And when the governor does things like this, just, you know, more people are going to slip through those cracks, and they're not going to have that safety net. They're not going to have that moment, you know, just enough time to find something else or find something better. I mean, even where I don't want to talk about where I'm working now, except that, you know, all right. I just mean that there's been a lot of people losing jobs and getting new jobs, and a lot of people moving around, and how, you know, it's been a plague year. It's been a once in a generation, once in a century plague year. And for a governor to grind the poor down even further, to hit people where they live by saying, no, $300 from the federal government is too much. You don't deserve that. You don't need that. We have 250,000 jobs to fill. Well, really? Do we have 250,000 healthy workers for those jobs? Do we have 250,000 people who are, like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Who are capable of performing all of those jobs? Because I know some of them's coal mining. I can't do that. for several reasons. Number one, I don't want to. But number two, I physically cannot for several reasons. So just throwing out a number like that and saying, we've got 250,000 jobs. We don't need federal money. Fuck you. Because you may have 250,000 jobs, but you've also got hundreds of thousands of individuals. And we're all good at different things, and we have talents in different areas, and we're good in different niches. And you can't just say that, oh, just because we, need this many people at this job, that means, what are you? That sounds like a communal farm or something from like Stalin. What are you even talking about, sir? You're like, what? I need 40 miners. That's this many jobs. So you go be miners. Are you just going to grab people out of the population and say, go be miners? And if you can't find work and you starve to death and don't have a roof over your head, it's your fault. What the fuck? What does that even mean? Yeah. Oh, well, here we go. Yeah, exactly. Purple. Exactly. And how many of those jobs do the employers require a level of education, even if it's just a high school diploma? Absolutely. And also, yes. And what other requirements? You can't have an underfunded public education system, Governor Lee, and expect to produce workers who can walk out into the world knowing Excel. And you'd be surprised at how many jobs that's a requirement for. So shape up. Stop it. Stop it. Stop hurting your own people. You work for us, in case you've forgotten, Governor Lee. You work for us, and it's a temp job at that. You are on probation. Every year that you're elected, that you're reelected, you're on probation. Keep that in mind. And you're sad and sorry. This is a sorry move on your part. And I don't know if you're just marching in long step in step with the Republican Party, or if you're just trying to look as good as the governor of Mississippi, which really, that's your goal. But okay. I don't know. But right now, you look like an ignorant good old boy who needs to learn some stuff. You need to come to Jesus meeting. And I'm an atheist telling you, you need to come to Jesus meeting. Hey, Lone Wanderer. Yeah, I talked about you at the top of the show. I did not make your spring rolls tonight because I had not the energy nor the drive, but I'm going to make them soon. We ended up ordering takeout, which is actually a big treat because, like I said, we were laid off for most of last year, so we didn't do that for most of a year. So it was nice. It was nice to be able to do that. All right. Well, y'all, we've been going for rounding up to 35 minutes here. I'm very tired. I have to be at work very early in the morning. And I do want to say, as much as I have this whole this whole show tonight was taking Governor Bill Lee of Tennessee to task, and he deserves it. And check out that article in the Tennessean, and also the governor of Mississippi. I did allude to that. I will say I do love my state. I love the people in my state. I love the people in Mississippi and the state of Mississippi, and that's why I speak out when our governors and legislatures do things that are deleterious to the welfare of the people of these states. And I think it's important to remind them that we pay attention and we vote. All right. And with that, I will say you can't find truth in wine, but you may find it in reason. Stay safe out there. Get fucking vaccinated if you haven't already. Jesus Christ, come on. And good luck. Love from Memphis, y'all.